How's it going, guys? So I'm gonna make a video today. I've been kind of thinking about this in my head for the past like few days, and I was like, you know what? I'm totally gonna make a video on this because this might actually be the same type of thing for a lot of people. So first things first, I am currently runecrafting law runes, and yes, as you guys can see in my inventory, I have the giant pouch. I'm working on a progress video right now for old school, and I did get level 75 runecrafting recently, so woohoo for that. Hopefully that doesn't spoil it too much for some people in the next old school progress video. But yeah, and I think I believe you are supposed to do. I'm just doing some rune crafting over here. I believe you are supposed to use all 4 pouches for things like law runes. Only astrals you're not supposed to because the trip is so fast. It's just not worth the extra banking time. But I just like to use 3 just because it's a lot easier for me. I like to bank once instead of twice and stuff like that. So, anyways, on to the point. I knew somebody was going to say, "Hey, why aren't you using 4 pouches, you dumbass?" And this kind of reminds me of when I first started making videos. I'd always just tell stories and things like that. So it's kind of like a nice nostalgic thing. Anyway, so let's get on with the story. I'm going to ask you guys, so this might actually apply to many of you in the comments or in the viewers. I believe I was in 5th grade, which would be like 9-ish years ago, maybe 10. My math is kind of off. Let's just go with 9 years ago, because 7 years we had graduated, and like it's been 2 years since then. Maybe it's been 3 years since, because I actually stayed for a 5th year for sports. So this might have been actually 10 years ago. So 2004? All right, 2004, 2005, maybe 2006, around there. So since I am 20 now, I'm gonna think that most of you are probably around the same age group, if not a few years younger. So I guess I was roughly 11 years old, give or take. So roughly that many years ago, I did play RuneScape. I think I started RuneScape in 2005, which was the summer. I think I said this before in one of my old videos on #1 Boss channel, but it was a summer of soccer I was playing. I used to play for like my city type of thing. We had a sleepover at my friend's house, and they both played RuneScape, and they introduced me to it. And first few stats I trained were woodcutting and fire making because it was just so basic. So yeah, I believe grade 5 is around 12, maybe it's even younger to be honest when I think about it, because I think like 13 or 14 you're already in high school, so I don't know. So back then, I did not have internet access, as many of you guys know what internet access is. I didn't have even a computer back then. In fact, since I used to live with my grandparents when I was very, very young, maybe I took after my grandpa, I don't really know, but he used to like, not garbage pick like a bum, but he used to like, you know, people that throw away valuable things, I guess, he would kind of sometimes take them out of the garbage. Not unless they're messy, I think, I don't know. But yeah, so he took like a computer out of the garbage, and we brought it home and tried to make it work, and I think we couldn't even like log into it or something. I kind of forget, but I remember turning it on all the time and hoping that it would actually just go to the actual thing so I can click on the internet, not knowing that you actually need internet access to use the online scape. But yeah, at that age, I don't think any of us really bothered with like the computer. I mean, that age we just went outside and played with friends, whatever that is now, extinct. So here's 2 small stories I can tell you guys about my childhood, kind of me playing RuneScape. So #1, I used to live in an area where I lived very close to many of my friends. It was kind of like a closed-in area. I don't know, it was kind of like a complex type of thing. And one of my friends called David, this is in grade 4, 5, and 6. This is where I used to first live. And he had internet access, and he also had PlayStation like 1 and maybe 2. I don't know if 2 was out back then, but it was something like that. I think PlayStation 2 is fairly new actually back then, because I remember my first game was San Andreas, I think. My uncle bought it for me. Fucking dirty uncle, man. Buys me a freaking rated, I think it actually turned into a rated A, adult thing. It used to be rated R or something like that, and then became literally just rated adult only. My uncle buys me one when I'm freaking 12 years old, this guy. Anyways, back on the main point. So, yeah, I used to, this is during, like, the holidays. I think this was Christmas holidays as well. Both stories will actually take place in the same time, just 1 year after for the next one. So this one is the first one. This was during Christmas break where we had no school, obviously, and I'm going to go very slow while I do this because I'm rune crafting, so hopefully you guys can bear with me on the rune crafting part. Don't judge me. Fucking 4:20 and we haven't even started talking. Hopefully you guys are still with me because this is taking a while to start off. So, during the winter time, I had a friend, David. So I can get to the point now. And he had internet access, and his mom was always on the computer, and we used to play Nintendo 64 there and PlayStation 1. Maybe even PlayStation 2. I'm not too sure if it was out then or not, or around that time. This is kind of back when I was a very big noob. I was still free to play on RuneScape. I didn't fucking know how to even pay for membership, and if I did, I would probably be too afraid to ask my mom. So I used to go over to his house, firstly to just play Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1, And then I figured out that they had like internet access and I could actually play RuneScape at their house. So this might sound sort of mean, but I mean we are good friends, or at least we were. I don't know about anymore or anything. But like once I noticed he had internet access and I could play RuneScape at his house, I don't want to say I used him for his internet access, but I definitely went over every single day and we played a tiny bit of PlayStation, and then he kept playing PlayStation while I hopped onto the computer. Hey, freaking age 12, you don't know how to use somebody, so you can't. He was still my friend. But yeah, every day I'd go over there. I remember around 11 o'clock is when his parents would actually let me come to his house because I guess they were eating lunch or breakfast or some shit. So this is basically what I do. I'd wake up, since I had no internet or I had no computer even in my house at that point. I would literally just wake up, watch some TV, and I remember taking like an hour-long shower just to pass the time, which is very weird. And I might have done dirty things, I have no idea. I used to take like a bath actually, just to kind of pass the time, because when you have no internet and like no good TV shows to watch, because I don't really know what the hell was on TV back then, like freaking Berenstain Bears or some shit. So yeah, I was basically doing nothing at my house until I kept calling their house. Hey, can I come over yet? Their parents are like, in 20 minutes. Call again in like 10 minutes. Can I come over now? It's almost been 20 minutes. Nope. 10 more minutes, and I come over finally around 11 or 12 o'clock at noon. And the biggest disappointment was whenever I'd get there, I'd always see their mom on the computer, the only computer they had. Why the hell they take out the logs? So I was like, God damn it, that fucking bitch is on the goddamn computer. I can't even play RuneScape until she gets off. Fucking balls. This guy says I'm not the real one. So yes, that is probably when my addiction first started. It was roughly grade 4 or 5. I was very addicted to the game. I don't really know why. It's probably because I couldn't play it all the time. I could only play it at a selected time. I think I would stay at their house until like 3 or 4 p.m. So a few hours. And obviously I was free to play. So the best I could probably do was like, I think fire making and wood cutting we mostly did. We did some combat at the Lesser Demons after doing the Dragon Slayer quest thingy. And this is roughly back before they even got their graphical update, where they used to just be like a big red blob. Like, I don't know if you guys remember that, but this is roughly around the time they got updated to look different. I was still never killing those things, and they look like a little freaking, they're like totally 1D animated character. I have no idea. So that was the first, a second year of me, I guess, playing RuneScape. This is probably maybe like 2.5 years of playing. I'm going to assume I started that summer, and then it was winter time, and I played at David's house all the time. And then, I guess the next winter is when I was able to play again. So I guess I didn't even play RuneScape while I was actually doing school, I guess. I don't really know. Actually, this reminds me. I don't know how long this is going to be a long-ass video. So, on the weekends, my mom had a side job where she used to clean this office, okay? And it was a side job for, like, windows and things like that. So, they also had computers there. And whenever I saw a computer, I get so fucking happy. I was like, dude, that is potentially RuneScape right there. I can go play it. And I found one of the computers that actually did not have a password requirement to log on to it. Because, yeah, I fucking looked around the entire place. I was like, come on, one of these could not have a password. I found the one, and I believe it was actually the boss. I have no idea why the boss wouldn't have one on there, but it was like the side room where, like, I think everything was more professional and more expensive looking. So, I was kind of scared I'd get caught, that's for sure. This is throwing me off, of course. This wasn't meant to be the second story, but here's the second story. There's going to be one more after this. If you were enjoying this video, comment the word law runes. There we go. Alright, so on the weekends we would go, and I remember I used to help my mom do this so I could play RuneScape at the end of it for like maybe 10 or 15 minutes. And I used to work really quick, so then I would have like no work left whenever I'm done, and then my mom could do whatever. But there was like this other part of this building like across the street, and my mom would have to go over there and clean like 2 rooms or so. And she used to do that by herself, and I would just stay in the main area. And this is exactly when I would log on to RuneScape. I would open up this guy's internet connection, or his computer, whatever, and I would log on and start. I think I was mining PRS because I was like, this is the only thing I can do right now. I don't really know why I thought that, but I would just mine PRS when I was there. That was a totally fail. Which pouch did I miss here? This one? There we go. Perfect. So yeah, I would log on to this guy's computer, and I remember I tried deleting the history, but I didn't know how to because I was like, yo, someone's gonna catch me logging on here and playing RuneScape. But I didn't know how to delete the history back then, but I did know that it existed, but I didn't know how to delete it. So I was kind of scared that the boss might one day catch me and I might get in trouble. And this is also roughly around grade 4 and 5. It was one of those because this is back where I first used to live. I know the time area sort of because I lived in like 3 different places when I was young. First place is grade 1, 2, and 3. Second place is 4, 5, and 6. And then the third place was grade 7 and 8. And then the fourth place is where I live now. So I can roughly kind of get the range of where all this happened. And yeah, many times I would hear the door open and I would quickly X out of RuneScape and I would close the computer and making sure I wasn't on there and stuff like that. Just in case my mom walks in and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? Because I thought I was going to get in big shit if my mom sees me. She never did catch me, so I guess I'm good at that. Good at being sneaky and playing RuneScape. And it was crazy, you know, just like that 15 minutes of me playing RuneScape made me fucking happy as shit. But yeah, that was my weekends. Every Saturday, I think, or sometimes every Sunday would be, we would go and do that. And I'd be like, woohoo, 15 minutes of mining RuneS or some shit. So that is the second story. Now, here's a third story. So that winter was Christmas break once again. And my mom worked during Christmas break, and I was the only one home. I think my sister was as well, but my sister had some other shit she was doing. I forget. I think she was always at my grandparents' house or something like that. So now it's going to sound like I'm going to be using my aunt. So my aunt lived pretty close to us, and I used to go over to her house during the Christmas break. I offered to help her with like walking the dogs and things like that. She had these two big puppies. One was called Bubbles, the other one's called Mia. Mia passed away, sadly, I think 2 years ago now, so boo-hoo. Dog was cute as hell. And yeah, I was the worst whenever I'd go there because my mom would drop me off at like 7 in the morning because she worked at like 7:30. And every single time I opened the door, the dogs would bark like crazy. I felt quite guilty because I was always waking everybody in the house up. Let me get this thing over here. But yeah, no matter what I did, whenever you hear the door open, the dogs would bark instantly right away. And I'd have to keep saying the word Bubbles, Bubbles, Bubbles so she knows it's me. And then she would slowly stop barking and then go back to like the bedroom or whatever and sleep again. But good thing for me, at that early, nobody was up yet. And I was able to go downstairs in the basement and I was able to play RuneScape there. And believe me, I played for the entire fucking day. Now here's where the main point of why I wanted to make this video, even though it's like 12 minutes in and I'm talking about it now. Whenever my mom came and picked me up at my aunt's house, which means it's time to go home basically, back to a home with no freaking internet connection. Whenever I got home, I would think about RuneScape the entire time as well. I was like, man, I want to play RuneScape so bad. I obviously didn't have internet connection still, so this is what I would do in my spare time whenever I got home, besides watching TV and sports and whatnot. I would grab a piece of paper. I want to know if you guys do this at all in your past. I wanted to talk about this at the start of the video, but I kind of missed it, kind of dragged on too long. So I used to grab a piece of paper, and I used to write down my current goals for the next day whenever I go to my aunt's house. I was like, I want to know if I can get this level tomorrow, this level tomorrow. I used to put down my goals on every single stat that I wanted to get up. Mostly consisted of woodcutting, fire making, a little bit of fishing, and I think mostly combat stats as well. And that was me, man. When I was freaking young. It's freaking awesome that I remember this now. But yeah, it was a piece of paper. I would write down my goals, and I'd bring it with me whenever I go to my aunt's house in the morning, and I would be like, okay, let's do this. So I guess the addiction for me definitely kicked in very early. I think the addiction was that much crazier, though, just because of the fact that I didn't have internet access, so whenever I was able to go on a computer that has internet, I would be like fucking psyched. I'd be like, oh my god, RuneScape time. And it kind of makes me wonder how that would work nowadays. Let's just say if all of us right now, even though we're like 15 to 20 years old, let's just say we didn't have internet access and we only had it like for an hour a day. What would you guys do in that hour? Like, would you guys all definitely log on to RuneScape and do as much as you possibly can? I guess for this point, you'd probably be as efficient as you can as well. You wouldn't log on for an hour and like fish rocktails. You would log on for an hour and do like C2 fishing and woodcutting. I should call this video How I Lost My RuneScape Virginity. I think I'm going to honestly call it that. You guys probably can tell by the title, but if I can remember, I might call it that. I don't know if I want to put the word virginity in there, though. Might be bad. I don't really know. I probably will. But yes, if you guys have any stories sort of like this, tell me in the comments. I would love to read your guys' stories about this. I'm sure many of you guys probably do have some. I don't think I've ever discussed about this. I'm almost positive I haven't. That's why this sounds so refreshing for me. But yeah, this is my little newbie story. When I was young and I didn't have internet access. I'm going to wonder for any of you guys when you were like 12 and 13. Did you guys, I'm going to assume you guys probably all had internet access. You spoiled asses. I don't think I believe I got my cell phone in grade 9 or 10, I think. And that's only because I'd have to call my mom after practice and be like, hey, pick me up at school at 5:30 or some shit. Just so I could tell her I have practice or if I don't have practice. But I think that's the only reason why I actually got my cell phone. Most people I knew, I think they got their cell phones around grade 7 and grade 8. And that's back when we didn't have the... I don't think there was a keyboard on the computer yet, like where you can bring it out and stuff like that. So this is like when it was literally just dialing. And I believe we had texting, or else nobody would have probably had a phone. But my phone, it was really horrible, the first one I got, just because I didn't really have a job. So, yeah. Anyways, that was fun talking about this. I probably just grinded out like 10k plus runecrafting without even knowing it. So, as I said, tell me you guys the stories if you guys have things that are similar to this. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Quick update. I am working on my Armadillo Boss series right now. I believe I'm going to probably do 200 Armadillo Boss kills for the next series instead of killing just 100. Because I only got one drop in between the entire 100 kills. So I didn't really want to bother making a video just for one friggin' Armadillo chestplate drop. So I'm going to extend it to an extra 100 kills and just put it together in just one video instead of two separates. Which means I have to log out of old school and do that. That's kind of unfortunate. I want to continue rune crafting and just slowly work on getting my way to 91, but for right now, I guess I just have to go and do that for my series, and then once I'm done, I can log back onto this. So it's kind of like mix and mix. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. It has been 15 minutes, hopefully, or almost 16 minutes by the time we're out of here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and all I ask is just for a like at the end of the video. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time, probably with the progress video. If I can remember any more stories I have not yet told you guys, I'll consider doing that. But I would really have to think about as much as I can. This was like 3 stories I basically just told you guys in one video. So if I can think of any more, I will tell you guys. But I don't know if there isn't. There's maybe one more. Maybe one more. I think there is, but I don't know if I want to actually talk about it. Let's just say, this is going to tip it off. Let's just say I did a lot more than just play RuneScape at my aunt's house. Oh,